Hello guys, today we are going to talk about the British Indian Ocean Territory or BIOT. Is an overseas territory of the United Kingdom situated in the Indian Ocean halfway between Tanzania and Indonesia and directly south of the Maldives. The territory comprises the 7 atolls of the Chagos archipelago with over 1000 individual islands, many very small, amounting to a total land area of 60 square kilometers. The largest and most southerly island is Diego Garcia, whose area is 27 square kilometer, the site of a joint military facility of the UK and the US. The only inhabitants of the territory are US and British military personnel and associated contractors, who collectively number around 2,500 according to the figures of 2012. The removal of Chagosians from the Chagos archipelago occurred between 1968 and 1973. The Chagosians, then numbering about 2,000 people, were expelled by the British government to Mauritius and the Seychelles to allow the United States to build a joint UK and US military base there. Today, the exiled Chagosians are still trying to return, arguing that the forced expulsion and dispossession was illegal. The islands are off limits to Chagosians, casual tourists, and the media. Since the 1980s, the government of Mauritius has sought to regain control over the Chagos archipelago, which was separated from the British colony of Mauritius by the UK in 1965 to form the BIOT or British Indian Ocean Territory. On 23rd June 2017, the United Nations General Assembly voted in favor of referring the territorial dispute between Mauritius and the UK to the International Court of Justice in order to clarify the legal status of the Chagos Island archipelago in the Indian Ocean. The motion was approved by a majority vote with 94 voting for and 15 against. Judge Abdullah Koi Ahmed Yusuf described the UK's administration of the Chagos Islands as an unlawful act of continuing character. In February 2019, the International Court of Justice in The Hague ruled that Britain should transfer the islands to Mauritius as they were not legally separated from the latter in 1965. The ruling is not legally binding. So here you can see all the atoll, reef, bank or alternative name of the islands in the British Indian Ocean territories and what are the types of those islands like submerged or unvegetated or atolls, and above you can see also the area of land and the total number of islands and also the latitude and longitude locations. So it consists of totally 16 atolls or banks. So the island of Chagos archipelago were characterized by Vasco da Gama in the early 16th century, then claimed in the 18th century by France as a possession of Mauritius. They were first settled in the 18th century by African slaves and Indian contractors brought by Franco-Mauritians to found coconut plantations. In 1810, Mauritius was captured by the UK and France ceded the territory in the Treaty of Paris. In 1965, the United Kingdom split the Chagos archipelago from Mauritius and the islands of Aldabra, Farquhar, Desroches from the Seychelles to form the British Indian Ocean Territory. The purpose was to allow the construction of military facilities for the mutual benefit of the United Kingdom and the United States. The islands were formally established as an overseas territory of the United Kingdom on 8 November 1965. On 23 June 1976, Aldabra, Farquhar and Desroches were returned to Seychelles as a result of its attaining independence. Subsequently, BIOT has consisted only of the 6 main islands groups comprising the Chagos archipelago. In 1990, the first BIOT flag was unfurled. This flag, which also contains the Union Jack, has a depiction of the Indian Ocean where the islands are located in the form of white and blue wavy lines and also a palm tree rising above the British crown. with the blue wavy lines of sea and a rising palm with the Union Jack. So, United Nations resolutions banned the breakup of colonial territories before independence. Mauritius has repeatedly asserted that the British claims that the Chagos archipelago is one of its territories is a violation of law and of UN resolutions. The UK has stated that it has no doubt about its sovereignty over the Chagos, but has also said that the Chagos will be returned to Mauritius once the islands are no longer required for defense purposes. The island nation of Mauritius claims the Chagos archipelago, which is conterminous with the BIOT, including Diego Garcia. A subsidiary issue is the Mauritian opposition to the 1 April 2010 UK government's declaration that the BIOT is a marine protected area or MPA with fishing and extractive industry including oil and gas exploration are prohibited. On November 16, 2016, the UK Foreign Office maintained their ban on resettlement of the islands. In response to this decision, the Prime Minister of Mauritius expressed his country's plan to advance the sovereignty dispute to the International Court of Justice. The British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson has sought Indian assistance for resolving the dispute involving the United Kingdom, the United States and Mauritius. India has maintained considerable influence in Mauritius through deep cultural and economic ties. India has maintained that the matter of whether or not to proceed with the UN General Assembly move is a decision for the Mauritian government to make. On 23rd June 2017, the United Nations General Assembly voted in favor of referring the territorial dispute between Mauritius and the United Kingdom to the International Court of Justice or ICJ in order to clarify the legal status of the Chagos Island archipelago in the Indian Ocean. The motion was approved by a majority vote with 94 voting for and 15 against. On 2015 February 2019, the International Court of Justice ruled that placing in the archipelago under British administration in 1965 was not based upon the free expression of the inhabitants, and that it thus advised that the United Kingdom should relinquish the archipelago, including strategic United States military base, for the establishment of which approximately 1,500 inhabitants had been deported. The British government rejected any jurisdiction of the court to deliberate these matters. The islanders were known as Ilois, one French Creole word for islanders, and they numbered about 1,000. They were of mixed African, South Indian, Portuguese, English, French, and Malay descent and lived very simply, Spartan lives in their isolated archipelago, working in the coconut and sugar plantations, or in the fishing and small textile industries. Few remains of their culture have been left, although their language is still spoken by some of their descendants in Mauritius. The inhabitants of Chagos were speaking Chagosian Creole, also known as Ilois Creole, a French Creole which has not been properly researched from the linguistic point of view. The island names are mixture of Dutch, French, English, and Ilois Creole. The tribes that inhabited the islands were forcibly removed by the US and British government during the late 1960s and early 1970s, effectively turning the islanders into a military base. While a number of islanders had petitioned for the return of their former homes, their efforts have not been accepted by the US and UK legal system. Outside of the US, the main island of Diego Garcia is the world's largest military base. So, currently, the ICJ or International Court of Justice said that UK should end the rule of this unlikely ruling on the BIOT or Chagos archipelago, so that this will go as a part of Mauritius from now on.